It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years since Marvel got back into the Star Wars business and started printing the regular Star Wars titles. And it's been a good time. No matter what has happened with the Star Wars universe on the screen and the problems with Disney, these comic books have been some of the best that have been written in the Star Wars universe, and there are a lot of comic books in the Star Wars universe. And so it's been 10 years. They're celebrating 10 years. They relaunched the title this year. Of course, I'm a Star Wars fan. I've been looking forward to it, and we've been kind of tracking it all along this year as we've been doing some of these reviews, and we reviewed the other Star Wars titles that have been released so far this year. Not every single one of them, but most of the main ones. And we'll do Dr. Aphra coming up here. I just placed the orders for it yesterday, in fact. And so we have this whole new series, this whole new life that's being brought to the Star Wars universe. This particular new series of Star Wars, it's written by Alex Segura, and you would know him from the Archies and from Superman on some of that Dawn of DC stuff, and Night Terrors, the Batman series, and many other places, including Edge of Spider-Verse, and of course Phil Noto on the art. And that's everything everywhere. That's all you need to say about Phil. This is happening sometime right after the Battle of Endor, sometime not long after the Battle of Endor and the defeat of the Empire. And you have Luke and all of those characters, Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, all those guys running around. And it's the early years of the New Republic, and they are coming up against remnants of the Empire itself, and a lot of pirates using former Imperial technology. It's been converted. They've converted the Imperial tech to their own uses, and including some of the big cruisers, and coming up against some of the things like that. They're still out there in the galaxy. And that's not really even the worst of it. There's other, so the New Republic is this fledgling authoritarian government system, for what it's worth, and there are other groups of people throughout the galaxy, other groups of planets and people who have united and don't necessarily want to join up. They're not necessarily any weaker than this new fledgling republic, and trying to recruit new planets into the New Republic, and there are just some of these groups out there that just don't want to be a part of that. They're not really interested, and frankly, they think if they had to resist them, they could, and so they're battling. And in this particular case, they're running around in the Fenrir sector, and you see them come up against some of these converted technologies, and they really haven't even got into the battle with, or any potential battle with, these systems, and these, I don't know if you would call them rogue systems. They're just systems that aren't necessarily in joining up with the gang. You know how I feel about the government gangs, but so we have Leia and Mon Mothma out there, and they're sort of negotiating new members, visiting with people, trying to stop wars, doing the things that they do. And then there's also another story in here as well with Valance, that's sort of the half-human android bounty hunter guy. He's running through this storyline, and he's running around with Han Solo, in fact. And so you have a number of things being set up here in this new look at the Star Wars universe, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that they continue to bring the top talent, and they have since 2015 when they started doing this. Again, that's what brought me back into comic book shops. Marvel got the rights back to Star Wars, and I had heard something about it, and I hadn't been in and out of comic book shops in, I don't know, it'd been at least 7 years. It probably wasn't quite a decade when I had sort of sold off my huge collection of packaged Star Wars toys, and the only thing I really had left at that time was a complete original Marvel run of Star Wars. And so when they said 10 years ago we're doing a new Star Wars run, I jumped right in, and it was great. I really enjoyed everything that they've done since then. The creation of the Dr. Aphra character, the things that they've done with the droids, the things that they've done with the bounty hunters. And so I'm really looking forward to them continuing to treat it well. Star Wars, it's in your local comic book shops now. If you can't find one there, if you don't have a comic book shop local to you, this happens truly. And it becomes more, and it happens more every single day as shops close and as business gets tighter, and the economy changes, and this trade war wages on. It's almost like a Star Wars, early episode, maybe around 1 or 2, somewhere in there. AmazingFantasies.com. Visit me there. Otherwise, if you're ever in Topeka, Kansas, stop in the store.